Hi INFJs and autistic INFJs. Today I thought we would have a conversation about that horrible life circle that we get caught in. When things seem to be going really great for us, we're doing what we should be doing, and all of a sudden we find ourselves right back at square one. When we're stuck in ruminating, analyzing everything, we just want to isolate ourselves and we want to bang our head against the wall because we're right back where we started. This happens for many INFJs. I see this with my clients and I've experienced it myself, and it's so frustrating. Today we're going to talk about it, have a little conversation about it. I'm going to explain to you why it happens. And I'm also going to share with you 7 things that I keep on hand, keep really close to me. I call it in my toolbox, although I don't have a physical toolbox, I just call it that help me get back on track and push through that moment, that phase in my circle so I can break out of it and keep going and get back to my happy place, bringing that happy life full of whatever it is that we're looking for, purpose or whatever it may be. That's what we're going to talk about today. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name's Trina Bretnell. I'm an INFJ and I'm also autistic. I like coming on and sharing things that have helped me throughout my life, help other INFJs and autistic INFJs feel seen, heard, and understood and less alone, because that would have made a huge difference for me years ago when I started working on myself. That's what I love to do, and I love doing it so much because I love helping other people. Okay, that's me. So before we get going, I do want to mention, if you have something, a topic that has been running through your mind, or maybe you're struggling with something, feel free to put it in the comments. I would love to hear about it. I'd love to talk about it. And if you don't want to put it in the comments, I totally understand, because that was me at one time. I will actually put my email address in the description of this video, so feel free to email me. I love hearing from my viewers, so it makes my day. All right, let's get into this, because this is very frustrating when it happens, right? We'll be doing the self-growth, personal development, whatever it may be. INFJs, we really like personal growth. So we'll dive really deep into personal growth and read all the books and do all the things that we're supposed to be doing. And we're really great at creating a routine and showing up and doing these things. And life will start getting really good for us, right? It's like things start falling into place, and I hate to say the term going our way, but that's what it is, right? It's like going our way. Everything seems to be happening for us. And then all of a sudden, something happens, and we find ourselves almost like it's all rewound, and we're right back at square one into that dark spot where we're struggling with our friendships. Maybe the friendships we had that we thought were excellent aren't. They turned out not to be. Maybe the relationship with a significant other went bad. We're struggling with work again. We thought our career was growing and we were going in the right direction, and then we applied for that promotion or whatever it may be and we didn't get it. It is so frustrating when this happens, and then we'll start ruminating. If you're like me, I will overthink, and before I know it, I am drawn back to events that have happened like years ago that I'm overthinking, and it's bringing up all these old emotions, and I just want to isolate myself from everybody else, and I just want to be alone and give up, kind of thing, right? This is so horrible when it happens, and if it happens for you, you're not alone, because it does happen for many INFJs. We are naturally sensitive, very sensitive individuals, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It's actually one of our strengths. I'm not going to explain why today, but it is, so be proud of it. But we are naturally sensitive, and we are deeply in tune with everything around us, our whole environment, right? But this makes us prone to overwhelm, to feeling like everything is out of control, and sudden dips of anxiety. This is why life feels like a circle. Like we're always just going in a circle, and we know eventually we're going to get back to that crappy place again, right? And that's what it feels like. Because we get overwhelmed so easy, especially this is especially for INFJs that struggle with autism, but it also goes for INFJs. Because we get overwhelmed so easily, we get dysregulated in our nervous system. Did that make sense? Our nervous system gets dysregulated very easy. That's what I wanted to say. That's a better sentence. When we get dysregulated, that's when our anxiety will start shooting off the charts. We'll get very stressed. We start ruminating, overthinking absolutely everything. We'll even experience like physical illness. Some off the top of my head is like fibromyalgia, stomach issues, things like that. We'll feel scared all the time, which makes it very hard for us to start taking risks, which in turn makes it hard to grow our career, right? Because that's taking risks, going out on the unknown. But when we have that dysregulated nervous system, we won't do any of that because we're scared all the time. There's always a threat going on, but we don't know what it is. It's there, but we don't know what it is. Or we think it's there. I don't really know if it is there. Anyway, this is a dysregulated nervous system, and this happens to us very easily. INFJs, it happens, but INFJs who are also autistic, this happens very, very easily to us. And it's a horrible spot to be in. And that is when we're on that circle that I was talking about, that life feels like a circle, and we hit that crappy place again, because that's what I call it, is the crappy place, because that's what it feels like. That's basically what's happening, is our nervous system is really dysregulated and we fall back into our old routines, which have never served us and they're never going to serve us, but yet we tend to fall back into them. But there are things that we can do for ourselves that will help when we catch ourselves back in that crappy place, that we can have on hand that will help push through. So we're only there for a very short time. Like for me, it will only be a matter of minutes. I find myself there. And I'm like, no, I don't want to be here anymore. And I have my things set out that I use that help push me through that. And away I go again. And I go back onto my circle. And every time I come back to that crappy place, it's less and less time that I spend there, right? And these 7 things I'm going to share with you. I picked out 7 of my favorite things that I have that I'm going to share with you that really helps get over these roadblocks. When we fall into that dysregulated nervous system, when life is just not really going our way. And it happens because we can't control life, right? Things happen. We meet people that we think are great, but they turn out not to be. I mean, things just happen. That is life. It's all about experience. And it's how we react to it, right? We can't control how life is going to be, but what we can control is our reaction to it. And this is one of our reactions too when things get going too much and they feel out of control. So I'm going to share with you the 7 things that I use. Some of them are like tangible things and 2 of them are not. It's habits that I do that have really helped me push through those crappy spots. All right, so the first one is, I even have them here. I'm going to show you them. My journal. This is huge. This helps me express and understand my emotions. It gives me clarity on my thoughts, which is big because we have lots of thoughts and some of them are very confusing. So journaling about it really helps with that. Plus, when we're having thoughts that seem to have power over us, that are really holding us back, maybe it's a fear of something, maybe it's a risk we're going to take or whatever, and we journal about it, when we write it down, it really takes the power away from that thought, so it doesn't seem so scary anymore. So that's my first one, my journal. My second one is a book. This is the book that I have. I just actually finished this book. It's called The Divergent Mind. I really recommend it. It's a great book. Anyway, a book. It doesn't matter what kind of a book. It could be a fiction or nonfiction book. Any reading is good, but it provides me with guidance and a new perspective during moments of my doubt, because I struggle with self-doubt lots. So I'll pull out a book. I always have one on hand that I haven't read, but sometimes I do want to reread them. Like this one, I'm definitely going to reread because there was lots of good things in it. I know I didn't absorb even half of what this book has to offer. Plus, learning something new distracts our brain from overthinking, from that ruminating, when we're like stuck on those past events that are going on and we just keep reliving them. If you grab a book and start learning something new, so I guess you wouldn't really want a nonfiction book or a fiction book for this. You would want like personal growth kind of, or a topic. Maybe you want to look into woodworking or whatever it may be. This distracts the brain from doing this. You can gain control of your brain, so it's not overthinking. Anyway, that's that, the book. So that's my second thing, a book. My third thing that I keep handy is my vision board. It's not a fancy vision board, but it's mine. This reminds me daily of what I'm striving for, what my goals are. It reminds me of why I don't want to be stuck in that crappy spot that I need. It reminds me why I want to do the work. And it's going to be a little bit of work to get out of that spot, but it reminds me why I want to do the work. You can make your vision board nicer than mine. Sorry, I think I just passed that in front of my face, but mine isn't nice, but it's mine and I did it and it makes me happy, and that's what it's about. I didn't really have patience to go cut things out of magazines or anything like that. And plus, I didn't have any magazines. So anyway, there's lots of tutorials on YouTube about doing vision boards, lots of different ways to do them, but I do recommend them. Plus, it sparks my excitement again of why I'm doing this. And once my excitement sparks, then I really get energized to really pull myself out of that rut again. The fourth thing I keep on hand is my art supplies. And this is my son's. I stole from him his box from school. But anyway, keeps my crayons in here because I like to color. And I also wanted to show you one more thing here that I do with my art supplies. And it is my coloring book. Now this is a page that I've not colored, but I recommend, oh, here's one that I colored. Ooh, beautiful, hey? So yeah, art supplies. This will encourage my creative expression. It helps me process my emotions. Anything creative. You don't have to color, just creative. Creative, just be creative. And it helps me express my emotions, process them, all that sort of thing, right? Our emotions are so deep that sometimes we have a hard time even understanding them ourselves. And doing something creative will help us process that. One of my favorite things is coloring. I also write. I'm a writer. I'm working on a nonfiction book specific for INFJs, and I've got it finished, but now I'm just going through and proofreading and editing it. But I also write nonfiction. No, I just said that. I also write fiction. I like the dark fantasy sci-fi books, and I have one that I'm working on. It's actually a series, and I've got the first book done to that. Anyway, being creative, doing this sort of thing will spark my inspiration, and it will start giving me ideas on what I want to do with my writing, or ideas just about life. So it's a big thing. If I'm find myself like in a dark funk, I call it, where I'm getting pulled into that crappy place where I know I'm going to start overthinking and I know that I'm going to replay events in my life that are going to bring up bad emotions, I will pull out my coloring, or I will go and start writing in my book or something, and it will help pass over that. Sometimes I can skip it completely and I don't even get into that crappy place. The fifth thing that I keep handy is comfort objects. So I have little sensory toys. That one's a cheap one. But I like to really carry these. They're little crystals. And if you can see, lots of them are shaped, my crystals, a lot of them are shaped like hearts. This one's one of my favorite ones. It's a little heart because I like hearts. And I keep these in my pocket when I know I'm going to go somewhere that's going to be overwhelming for me. Basically out in public in general. I'll throw them in my pocket. And I can take them out, and they're very smooth. I like them because they're very smooth, and I'll just rub them. They also have healing powers. If you're into the woo-woo, you can read about them. But I like the ones that are shaped kind of like a heart, because my son and I have this thing where we search for hearts all the time. In rocks, whatever it may be, we're always looking for a heart. So I try to buy the crystals that are heart-shaped, or find rocks that are heart-shaped, and I'll pack those. Those are my comfort things, and I also like the sound of them when they're rubbing together. I don't know if you can hear that, but I like the sound of it. So that's what I do. It helps me stay grounded, and it will help me find my center and stay safe, feel safe when I'm in those moments when I feel like I'm getting dragged into that crappy place. The sixth thing, and this is just something that I do, it's a habit that I've developed, is mindfulness. Practice mindfulness every single day. At first, I had to set a timer to pull myself out of my head, back into my body, and just be in the moment. I had to set a timer for multiple times a day because it was very hard for me to pull myself out of my head. I do it all the time now. On my own, it's just a habit I've adopted, but it has taken me over a year to do it. It's a long time. But anyway, I can't stress enough how important mindfulness is to an INFJ. The amount that I have learned about myself through mindfulness, my moments of mindfulness, is incredible. And when we learn things about ourselves, that is like power nobody can take away from you, right? So a lot of the things that I've learned about myself are the roadblocks that I'm struggling with, that I need to deal with, right? It's those things that we don't know why we keep repeating these same patterns that aren't taking us somewhere. If we just practice mindfulness, oftentimes we'll discover why we keep repeating these patterns and what we need to do to change them so we're not constantly repeating them again on that circle and getting to that crappy place, right? So mindfulness. Number 7, and this is just another thing that I do that's a habit, is grounding. Grounding lots throughout the day. This actually goes with mindfulness. These two things go hand in hand, and I thought about just making them one, but I'm not, because they are separate practices. Grounding helps me stay present in the moment. It brings me back into my body. But what's a little bit different about this than mindfulness is grounding is one of the quickest ways to calm down my nervous system when I'm feeling overwhelmed. So when I'm out in public, or maybe something came up in my life that really has overwhelmed me, a circumstance or a trigger, something triggered like an old memory that I was really having a hard time with, and that overwhelm comes up, grounding will help me get over that. It brings me right back. It calms it all down so that I can just unpack what's going on and leave it behind me. I hope this was helpful for you. I love all the things that I shared with you. They're my favorite things. When I sat down to write this up for this video for you, I just pulled out my 7 favorite things that I love to do, that I keep close by, that really, really help me. And if they really help me, I know they can help other people too. So if this video is helpful, please like my video. I invite you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed yet, because you never know what kind of video I'm going to come up. And also, if you have something that you'd like me to talk about, don't forget to add it to the comments. Feel free to share this video. The more times it's shared, the more INFJs we get to help, and that's what it's all about. And remember, you are enough just the way you are. That's the great thing to remember. I wish I would have remembered that a number of years ago, so I like to say that now. You're enough just the way you are. All right. Again, I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you real soon with another video. Bye for now.